The following is a review of the comic. A review only. And doesn't mean that I want to sleep with any of the creators involved. I mean, I'm not trying to get a job at Marvel or DC. If you think that's the case, however, you can kindly do a 180 degree and go check yourself in at the nearest psychiatric facility. Also, the quality of this video is really low. So if you're expecting higher standards, go check out someone else, like your friendly neighborhood psychology nerd. Because here, what you see is what you get. Thank you, and please enjoy this very, very unbiased review.
Hey guys, StarCraft here, and like I said, I will be talking about one more Alan Davis, Mark Farmer handled alternate universe book, but not DC this time. We're going to be going over Fantastic Four: The End. I love the End books. I think I have all of them. And yeah, basically they are basically giving us the final stories for them. Some are one-shots like Hulk and Iron Man. Others are miniseries like X-Men, which went out a little too long, or Wolverine, or Fantastic Four. We'll also eventually talk about those and the last Fantastic Four story that Stan Lee actually did. But with this, Alan Davis and Mark Farmer decided to do some interesting things right off the bat. It basically jumps it forward into the future, and yeah, this is the last adventure. But whereas some of the other ones felt like a true last adventure, well, actually, never mind, I'm not going to get into Trace just yet. But I'll say this. There's one downside. It opens up with, basically there was a mutant war that wipes out all the mutants. Which will be fine if it wasn't for the fact we have the rest of the Marvel Universe to, sorry about that. As I was saying, all of the mutants have been wiped out. And unfortunately that means that you have all the other Marvel heroes except for them. And I have a good theory at least to why at least one of the mutants was taken out. Hold on. Sorry, just adjusting the lighting. But yeah, it opens up right away with Dr. Doom after the Mutant War. After the Mutant War, where he basically healed himself, repaired himself, but during the allotted time, technology had progressed, but it says right here, so when Doom discovered the world has changed in his absence, that his technological advantage and political status were lost, and any lingering vestige of humanity vanished in a berserker rage. And yeah, he is just wailing into everyone. Just pounding on them all. Until eventually, now by this point you had Valeria and Franklin are older and helping out. But then things go bad when they get grabbed by Doom and something causes a power surge and, well, kills the kids and Doom with them. So Reed, what I like about this is that each of the four do their own different ways of coping. Reed just throws himself into his work with She-Hulk helping him out. And basically, Reed is trying to create a utopia on Earth. And now he's trying to make Earth a bit more prepared and everything. Oh, here's what it says. The truce I negotiated with Galactic Community will come under review in a few years. And there's a lot to be done before phase 2 of the quarantine period to help acclimate humanity to being part of the Galactic Community. In other words, thanks to Reed, everything is starting to become better, but at the cost of him just throwing himself into his work, to the point where even Jen calls him out on it. Because he basically feels like that's not enough. Whereas Johnny, he's become leader of the Avengers. He has become the hero he always was destined to be. And he's having a fun time. And you also have stuff like Tony, for example, is now an AI operating in the suit and just jumps from the different suits. See what I mean? Also, Ben, he has his own, he's married to Alicia, they have a bunch of kids, and yeah, one of them has the ability to shriek. But then, in that though, he has the ability to change back and forth between forms. Finally having the perfect life he wanted. Susan, on the other hand, well, first, I like how she's underwater. Namor tries to think like, oh, you come to be with me? She tells him off, and he just takes it. He's just like, All right then. Normally, anyone would be like, how dare you? But no, by this point, he is matured and he's like, very well then. Can't blame a guy for trying. Because you see, she believes that that Valeria had sent her a bunch of symbols that was a way of saving him. She is so convinced, and Reed cannot believe it. Also, we have Dr. Strange and his daughter, the current Sorcerer Supreme. And I like that, actually, that it's his daughter, so yeah. Then we just show, for example, a lot of the geniuses are together, and then we find out their kids are the Bug Squad. It's cute. Not necessary, but cute. And basically you have a whole bunch of other things going on, like the high evolutionaries being attacked and everything. Reed is, by Ultron, I should point out, they're trying to help save the day. Because basically Ultron wants everything to fail. You have basically got all of this, and you have just all these different plot points going on, like with Ben just dealing with stuff, and a bunch of the aliens feel like something is up on Earth, and basically all the old rivalries are now reaching to a boiling point, as they all are soon going to decide to go after Earth. Not yet, though. As then, yeah, Susan and Namor continue to deal with stuff, and again, there's just a whole bunch of plot points in here, and I could go over all of them, but basically, you have, Johnny meeting up with Crystal again. I'll get to that a bit, but that's the only time they really interact much. You have Uatu talking with Galactus, basically reminding him how important Earth is to him. Now, here's one bit I really like. You see Reed talking with T'Challa. Then later you find out that Jen had left and after they had a bit of an argument, and she feels like, I didn't get a chance to talk with him before I left, and now I'm a little worried. Then all of a sudden, we then see Jen is back there with Reed saying, I couldn't leave after the way things lasted. But, yeah. You're like, wait, what? I do like that twist. You know, we have, again, like some of the others are dealing with Kree Sentry as they realize things are really getting bad. Then it turns out that Jennifer was a Super Skrull. Kind of saw that coming. Susan is still having nightmares, and then I like this. I'll be honest, I like this a little bit. Because she's underwater, she's getting a little stuffy. We do get to see a little cleavage as she's just getting a little bit of air, but not too long, but it's not too egregious either. But I just find it's like such a nice little bit. She's just like, whew, just cutting things out a little. And, well, basically, some of the other villains are trying to push things, push things along. The Skrulls are hoping to use Reed's tech, all that stuff, and it sends him into the negative zone, which eventually leads to it leads to a nihilist thinking like, oh, you've come to deal with me now, huh? Things of that nature. Eventually, Susan meets up with the Mole Man, who basically then tells her, about an orb that she's been looking. And once she does, she takes a big risk using her force field to try and protect her until she can go down and get the orb, knowing that they will need it. Things just continue to escalate more and more. Nihilist wants to go and invade the Earth, invade the positive realm after feeling like enough's enough. You have all the other villains are starting to fight more and more. And the space characters are preparing to fight more and more, as a huge army is heading right towards Earth. But then everything starts to come together as Susan tries to convince Reed about the orb. Of course, Reed's like, just like, and there's a bunch of tangled shapes, and Susan, nothing more. Everyone is fighting off as Steve and Strange and his daughter start using the orb, and eventually, it turns out they didn't die in that blast. It turns out Doom, Franklin and Valeria were pulled forward in time to save themselves. And while everyone else is freshened up as everyone starts to wail in the Doom, who's still exhausted. Still feeling like, oh, you will not win this time, Richards. But eventually, things look like there's going to be doom for Earth when all of a sudden Galactus appears and saying, anyone that asks for and brings harm on this system is an enemy of Galactus. Go now! Yep, everyone turns tails and runs. Soon then, though, the portal is starting to act up. Doom thinking like, oh, all of your technology. I shall possess your power and victory will be mine. As he jumps in and the portal to the negative zone is destroyed once and for all, leaving Doom trapped in there. Everyone then is just all relieved that things are calmed down. Everyone's happy. Really, they are just so happy that their family's back together again. I just love that group shot there. But then we get a little bit where we've seen Johnny acting up with Crystal, and it's Valeria basically predicts, they point out there's now 6 on the team. Then Johnny points out to Ben that there'll be 9 once your kids find out. Ugh, boy. But then Valeria says, not 9, Uncle Johnny. John, 16. Or there will be when you and Crystal have your 7 children. I'll get to that. But then it ends with even Doom getting a happy ending as he kills the Nihilist and takes over the negative zone. So yeah, why did I give that look at the end? Because I wonder part of the reason why they kill off all the mutants was size 1, so they can have less characters to deal with, but 2, to kill off Quicksilver to make Crystal single again, and thus then allowing Johnny and Crystal to get back together. That's what it feels like, because it feels like, and they don't even interact that much besides a few bits in here, but it's like, nope, let's start it up again. It's like, really? I mean, not that I have anything wrong with it. I know there are a lot of people who love that shipping, but I grew up with Crystal and Quicksilver together, and that's what I'm used to. And this just feels like, let's do this just to get these 2 crazy kids together again. I could be wrong, but that's just what it feels like. But overall, this is a great, fantastic story. I know I went a little quick on this one, but it's because there's just not much really to summarize. It is stretched out a bit compared to the others, but for what it is, it does feel like a great, fantastic send-off for the characters. They've reached the Utopia. They are now accepted, forcibly, of course, accepted by all the rest of the planets, thanks to Galactus keeping eye on things. And the family's reunited. Everything is pretty much going to lead into being perfect from now on. Most of the main threats are either to deal with, or in the case of Doom, he's stuck there now, but he's happy too. Feels like everyone got what they wanted. And what more could you ask for? So that was my 3-episode Alan Davis stuff. Again, until Cyberfrog comes in, I'm probably going to be doing, I'll probably do the last Fantastic Four story tomorrow, hopefully. But then after that, I might do a lot of Thanos. I think it's about time. I skimmed a lot of them in my Jim Starlin spotlight, but I think I should give each of them the stuff they deserve. So, until then, catch you all later.